from their encounters with races from other planets. The information is the activation. Let's awaken this world together. We are the forever students, and we will not be silent. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. It's pretty wild. Welcome, everybody, to Full Spectrum Universe. My name is Rob Yonks. We are here for another exciting broadcast. Tonight's topic, human history has been hidden. That is a definitive statement, not a question, not a hyperbole. There is literal hiding of human history. And I just want to start off tonight by saying to everybody, I apologize for the lack of episodes per week. We've been kind of falling behind, doing only one a week. I promise it's going to ramp up. We've got an incredible new series, voted on by the viewers themselves. We're going to be talking about a book that I just found that's intense. And one of the things I want to preface with this book as well is that this sees Thoth in a little bit of a different light than we've seen it when we talked about Ascension Glossary and Lisa Royale's take on Thoth. So I'm not projecting that this is the ultimate truth, but it is a potential perspective. And I thought it to be explored because really, when we get into the Merkaba and the grids, I mean, this book it literally touches on every spiritual topic that we've talked about over the last, I don't even know how many, probably year. And it gives an explanation and a connectivity to the Atlanteans and how the Atlanteans was the beginning, right? And this is kind of a preface. This is a preface to that series tonight, because human history is absolutely hidden from us. We have no idea what they find out there, what our true history is. And we have to look in places like the Akashic record. We have to look for corroborating information from contactees, channeling information. There is a ton of information out there to go deeper and further than any textbook. So tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to ask the real question. Why? Why are they doing this? And what is going to be happening when we start to get into what our potential true future is? Now, again, history is a timeline, but the timeline is seen through different perspectives, which gives a different take on different same events or different events within the historical context of it. That's part of understanding that the winners write history, but the losers still have a history. And when we start to encompass both, again, we get a more robust understanding of the entirety of the events or the timeline itself. So please like, share, subscribe, send this out. We're going to be doing some more shows on the other platform as well, because it seems as if we can't even get an audience over here. And the first episode we did with the political show did absolutely amazing over there. And I'm not sure if things are being transferred there either, but we're going to start doing at least one a week on both platforms, one exclusively to each platform. So if you're not subscribed or following over there, whatever it might be, I suggest you do so. The link is in the description of this video, and stay up to date with everything we're going to be talking about over there. That side of the aisle is completely uncensored, and trust me, I've got a lot to say that cannot be said here. So let's get into a little bit of what we're talking about. Tonight's a little bit more of a rant show, because I thought about this topic, and I thought about the different avenues and ways that they could literally disseminate, delineate and disintegrate our history. But what would be the purpose of it, right? So I looked at the current events of what's happening right now, right? And it's the Rumble channel. Sorry, Walter. It's labeled the same thing as this, so if you go in there and type it, I'm sure you'll find it. We can put a link into the chat a little bit later. But if we look at right now, and we use right now as sort of a context of what was happening back then and what their purposes are for essentially not showing us the information that is our own history. So Really? Oh man, I didn't know anything about that. That sounds crazy. If you guys are getting this information now, just to put that out there, so lots going on with Omar's channel. All is lost, our memberships, everything. That's absolutely insane. That's terrible. I did not know that. Um, I will talk to Omar and see what we can do about, hopefully, I know that he has an Odyssey, and Odyssey has a backup of all of the videos that he has done yet to date. So if anybody is we'll do a post later, and we'll get his Odyssey address, and we'll essentially put it out there for everybody so you can still maintain what Omar is doing at the moment. I'm not sure if it's going to be up on Odyssey because Odyssey's kind of linked to YouTube. So we're not really sure yet, but I will talk to Omar and see what's happening. That's crazy. This is part of what we're talking about, right? This is the stuff that they don't want to be explored within the modern day. And we can see with the way that information is served up on a silver platter with propaganda and narratives today, and why they do so. There is a multitude, it's a multi pronged approach to basically making people subservient to this ruling class. And this ruling class, which, is a multitude of different races, colors, religions. They're some of everybody, right? There is no one set ruling class or, one specific race or whatever the case is. This is a multinational conglomerate of families, but also corporations. And what they do is they basically instill the edicts of how we live our life. And if something is to change, they let it be known via the corporations, because the corporations are what symbolizes the American way, I guess to say, or even, a worldly way, because a lot of these corporations are worldwide as well. But they basically they use that to cultivate civilization. Now they also use the media, movies, Hollyweird is out there, and they do their thing to subvert humans to basically be a part of their Luciferian Satanistic cult without people actually knowing that they're taking part in it. It's like all the people who go to the concerts. When they go to the concerts, they don't realize that there is ritualistic behavior being played out for them and making them a part of it, which in a way becomes sort of a sacrificial lamb to this Hollyweird and the people that are, but people that are out there. So they do this for a reason. They do this to divide, because when division happens, conquering is easy. Now, whether they're trying to conquer you completely physically or mentally and spiritually, corruptibility, conquerability, it's interchangeable in this, right? So this is one of the reasons why they don't want us to know where we come from or the context of our history, whether it's earthly history. They want you to know what they want you to know. And that's the bottom line. So what we've done is we've created avenues of exploration. When we say exploration, it's because a lot of the information that we talk about, we have in good faith put topics out there, and there are some corroborability between certain talking points, but some of it is somewhat of an assertion or an assumption, right? There's a little bit of no, I don't want to say embellishment either, because it's not. We use what we read to give us context to try and make an educated decision or guess sometimes on information, when we know that essentially there is a actual timeline out there that has been written, rewritten, written, rewritten. I mean, this is what happens. And there are people who know. And we know that there are people who know. And sometimes those people drip out little bits of information. And they do that to sort of whitewash history. They can essentially change history while we're sitting here right now. They can go into the textbooks and basically change the topic and see it from a different light and change it completely, right? We could look at World War I, for instance. They could tell us that the Axis won. Now we know they didn't, but if they instill this long enough and put it in enough books and project enough of this information into the ether of the public, eventually the people who knew that that wasn't the case will either be called conspiracy theorists, will either be almost ostracized from society, or they essentially will pass away and transition to the next, next stage of life, or what your consciousness becomes part of the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensional density. And then from that point on, it'll be seen in that light. So the information that we explore when it comes to things like Thoth the Atlantean or Lemuria or Mu or even the Sumerians or the ancient Egyptians is all taken from writings that we've found to preserve and document this history. Now, a lot of that is done on stone faces, but even those stone faces have been washed away and rewritten, right? So, what does that mean? That means that pharaohs in ancient Egypt, and you can go down the king's list and say, okay, here are these six pharaohs. And as we go into their temples or to their pyramids, you can see that certain things were engraved, basically wiped clean, reslated, and then written over again. They've been practicing this since the beginning of time. So, again, how do we know what's the true history? It's difficult, right? This is where a little bit of the spiritual attainment comes into play, and we're able to access the universal or Akashic records. And we have an insight into the energetics, ebbs and flows of that timeline, and even potentially different timelines. That could be something that you might have played out at a different time. So there's a lot of ways for this to essentially be something that when we dive into it, it's a multi perspective affair, right? So, again, I'm not going to harp on this completely. We can go into different topics too. If anybody has any questions in the chat, or if they want me to address something specific, please put it in all caps and we'll address it. But this is sort of more of an open ended conversation. But they seem to do this. And another reason, not only for control, right? We talked about the control aspect of it, is because they don't want us to know where we come from, because it gives an inkling into the abilities and powers that we all have. Good night, Jay. It's good to see you, brother. Right? And the moment that we reclaim that power, that sovereignty, that liberty, that free will, we are no longer their pawn. And that they just can't live with. Right? We see things that have happened even over the last few weeks where they're using specific tools like the weather systems, right? And the people that report the weather systems to have people essentially become depressed. And they do this or anxious. I've watched it in real time, right? So this summer has been very dreary, very dreary. It said severe thunderstorms, rain almost every day when you look at the weather centers around the world for this area that I live in New York. And imagine looking at it every day and saying, "Oh my God, are we going to lose power today?" And it's crazy because I don't lose power when the storms go crazy. I lost power 15 minutes ago while I was in the shower, soap in my hair, couldn't see a thing. And then my next thought is, damn it, I'm not going to be able to put a show on tonight because the power's out. And they seem to put the power out 15 to 20 minutes before the show starts. I don't know why, but it's crazy, right? So I was like, oh man. Meanwhile, I literally just put the shampoo in my hair and The water doesn't work when we don't have power. So it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. But they use these systems because everybody has a different threshold. We talked about this before. Some people don't watch the news. Some people watch the weather. Some people don't watch the weather. They watch baseball. They watch football. Some people don't watch baseball or football. They watch stories on Netflix or Hulu, right? So they've propagandized all of it, to basically tell you that without them, you're nothing. You won't achieve anything, right? And goes back to the potential or the power that is innate in all of us. And if we have the ability to access it, right? If we can access this, we can access our own timeline. And if everybody was able to access their own timeline, we could do an entire, we could basically record all of those different aspects of all of those different lives and have a true tall tale picture of what humanity was before it got to this planet and from the moment it stepped foot to the present, which is why these spiritual journeys of awakening are so important. One aspect, besides the fact that we're trying to raise ourselves to a higher frequency, a higher vibration, and then to a higher dimensional density, because we'll be able to tap into the more of the collective consciousness, the Akashic record, the etherical records, I mean, everything. But also, we'll be able to access these timelines and get our true historical record brought to you by the people for the people, which is what we do here every time we step on. Which is why when I found that book, I did a poll because I thought it interesting. But we've kind of gone a little bit back and forth with certain things people liked, certain people things didn't like, and usually after a few episodes or so, we do some sort of actionability where the audience gets to pick what they want to see because with we're a community, right? It's not just me, and I shouldn't say audience, but the people that are here because the audience is not what I see you. I see you as family, and we are all family here, and this is what we do. We, you know, we really, I really, really love what I'm reading in this book. But again, from what I've read in other places, the perspective of Thoth and the ability that this gentleman has to speaking with Thoth on a one-on-one basis is intense. It's intense. But the information that is given in this book is an older book too. So it's crazy. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. We're gonna have so much fun because I'm just gonna rifle through the book. That's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna have fun going through the entirety of the book. But just for those who didn't pick it up on the community post, this is called The Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the Atlantean by John Armitage. And I'm not sure if anybody here is familiar with John, but John's work is extensive. It is absolutely extensive. And we have a really, really great time going through this information because it correlates with a lot of what we discussed. But this is just another validation point, which is what we love to use, right? We love to use those points to sort of catapult to the next arena or the next level of what we're going to be going into. So, you know, I think it's wild how they use these resets. They even call them the Great Reset, right? To go back and destroy specific cultures at specific time periods. And if we like the Tartarians and the rest of it, if we look into these cultures were either advanced technologically or advanced spiritually, right? Even when we're talking about history of all the way dating back to Atlantis, we hold Atlantis on a pedestal compared to the other places. We don't usually talk about Lemuria. We don't talk about the island of Mu. We don't talk about Lower Shambhala. We all want to talk about Atlantis. And that's another point of interest for these people controlling the narrative. They want us to talk about Atlantis because Atlantis was the city that fell. Lemuria didn't fall, Mu didn't fall, Lower Shambhala didn't fall, but Atlantis did. So, of course, they want that in the frontal cortex so that we can utilize the falling, right? Or we look at the Bible and there's the fallen angels and how mankind has fallen. When we say fallen, I truly believe it's a de-evolutionary path. And I think that we've done it to ourselves. And the reason why we've done it to ourselves is because the people who were helping us for a very long time decided that it would be easier to control us. Or they left, and then here comes the next group of extraterrestrials that says, you know what? I think maybe we're going to control them. We're going to farm their life force so that we don't have to do certain things anymore. It's insane. It's insane to think about that. And to think about the human race has been in servitude for thousands upon tens of thousands of years. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. And I think to myself, how can this be? How have we not broken free of all of these different of all of these different, you know, these moments that we've had where these liberations have come? Wh- Why is it that we can't, why is it that we can't break through that? And just another real quick update here, guys. I'm actually able to see Omar's channel still. I don't know if that's something different or if something had happened, but I'm still able to see it. I don't know if that's, but just something that I wanted to say really quickly. But, you know, when we talk about the hidden human history, what are some of the ways that you guys think that we can tap into this potential and this human history that lays dormant all the time? I love it, Pam. I love talking about Mu, and I have so many books on Mu and Lemuria and all of these different things, right? And but mainstream doesn't like talking about Mu, Pam. Why do you think that is? And just a question, and you can answer it at your leisure. But and I think it's because Atlantis fell, and Atlantis, in its later stages, fell from the graces of what it was meant to be in a ascended master's haven to essentially, you know, to essentially bring the best human race possible to fruition. But then, but then the great cataclysm happened. And what if it wasn't a cataclysm that was accidental? What if it was intentional? Right? Crazy. And yes, Ricky, absolutely. They were both extremely more spiritual, just like Lower Shambhala. Lower Shambhala is rarely ever talked about. Lower Shambhala is inner earth or hollow earth. And these were the Pleiadians and Arcturians and their semblance of humanity, right? Their creation of humanity. And then what happens? Atlantis blows a ton of crap up. The Lemurians go underground, the Muse go underground, and then the lower Shambhalans and whatever's left of Atlantis all go underground. And that's why there's such extensive tunnel systems on this planet. This is where they lived for a long time. They intermingled, they even bred new breeds of human existence. And this is why we're here. This is why they say that they can't basically go through our genetic makeup and 90 some odd percent of it is junk, right? Just they just can't identify it. So I think that there is another system at play, and it's not just power. It's not just the enslavement of mankind, but I believe that they're using this informational gap as a spiritual barrier, right? Because if this spiritual barrier is essentially opened or broken up, then they'll never be able to instill some of these things again. So it's not just a now thing, it's a future thing as well, right? And this is why we're seeing this right now. You can turn on 7 different channels, right? Whether it be local, and I know we keep talking about the news, and the news is not essentially a great pinpoint, you know, perspective point, but it's I'm showing you the process. You can turn on 6 different channels and hear 6 different stories, and the people who are idealistic to those channels because they believe whatever they want to believe, and they have every right to do so, right? I'm not saying it's wrong or right, but this is how they break us apart. And now we're more fixated with the liberal fighting the Republican, or the libertarian fighting the atheist, right? Or or we could go into race or religion, and we're preoccupied. And nobody cares about looking backwards to explore anything, nor do they care to be in the moment. They can only look to the next big event, an election, or, some sort of hearing or committee meeting, some sort of school board meeting, right? While they are important, some of them, of course, they're important. You're not remaining in the present. And when you access the present, the future, again, the future and the past become clear as day, right? And tonight, at the end of this episode, we're going to do a meditation. And this meditation is going to access the Akashic records. And I know I said I was going to do Akashic readings for everybody. I have not even started those yet. And I apologize for that, but things were hectic at home. So I'm going to get to it. And I promise you, I said I was going to do it. I'm going to do it. And after the first Akashic reading, you don't need me anymore, right? This is something that we're going to give away for free, because you don't need me to tell you once you get there. It's just getting there that can be a bit tricky sometimes. But I'm pretty sure that by doing the meditation this evening and setting the intention of doing that meditation, we are going to access the Akashic records. But not only that, we're going to ask to access the true human historical timeline from start to finish. And I guarantee you, if you do this the way that I think it's going to work, you will have access to whatever point of interest you want. You set the intention, you close your eyes, and information is going to come to you. Now, it may not come in a way that you're like, oh, there it is, right? It may be subtle, maybe a sign of something, but it's going to happen. I can almost guarantee it, right? I'm 99% sure, because I've done this with some people too, and they've told me that it's subtle sometimes. And I enjoy seeing the glimpses of my past lives, of the timeline itself. That's sort of where, when I was doing Galactical Beginnings, and we went into a lot of the different aspects of where the genetic humanoid came from. And I was focusing my energy so much so on this information I felt that there was more information coming to me, right? And that information was essentially just being given to me through the ether or through the collective consciousness or the Akashic record, whatever it is, right? So we're trying to break through. And that is exactly right, Scott. And it's strong and facilitating by our own obsessions, right? This is why we have to break the programming completely and the paradigm of it all. There's a lot of people who we haven't seen here in a while tonight are here. I'm so glad you've all decided to come and join us again. And I'm so grateful that you're all here. It's great to see you all. Absolutely. I love you all, you know? And it's it's insane how far we've come in just the last year, right? The awakening has taken on a quickening pace out of necessity. Out of necessity. Dorothy, good to see you. Walter Buckshot, Common Sense, Scott, so many people. So many people. Ronnie, Sugar Bee, Pam, Somber, Rain, Line, I saw DKI. Everybody's here tonight. Awesome. Awesome. So great to see everybody. Jason, everybody's here. But the quickening is happening out of necessity. The river, as Stephen and Evan say it, and they're going to be back on their show soon. The river is starting to move faster, and we're getting to the waterfall, right? And the waterfall is going to be a rush down. Now, I know a lot of people keep saying this, and they keep saying it. We're in this new earth. We're getting there. Yes, I agree. But new earth can be something different to everybody, right? We're trying to tap in to the ascension process because we are not just a physical being, right? This physical shell is not what houses your consciousness. Your consciousness was first, and it created this physical being so you could experience third dimensional reality. Because third dimensional reality has all the tools to make us stay humble, to reintegrate us back into source, but to also feel some of the things that come along with the 3D world. And some of that is programming, right? But that programming needs to be taken over by us. Subconscious programming is one of the biggest things. And I always say this all the time. And I mean, I'm going back to all the monikers, right? All the things that we've said over the last 2 years. I challenge everybody here to do a 30-day challenge. Now, what this challenge does is essentially you are on top of every thought that comes through your head. Now, it's going to be tiring for sure, right? But, but I promise this, right? For 30 days, if you remain within a positive mindset and you try to discard, Ricky, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Amazing, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I promise you that if you are conscious of your mind and your thoughts for 30 days, and even if you get a negative thought, you either accept it for what it is and then get rid of it and let it go, or you turn it to something positive, right? And if you do this for 30 days, it'll become mechanical in your own mind. And your brain will do it without you even realizing you're doing it. What this does is just let you let go of attachment. The attachment is what holds us, right? Just like the Jedi. The Jedi of the old Republic didn't have attachments. They didn't get to get married. They didn't have wives. They didn't have girlfriends. The attachment. But this isn't the same type of attachment. This is reveling in the amazing amount of love within those relationships or within those thoughts or within that mental state But once it no longer serves its purpose or it's no longer useful, we discard it without any anxiousness, without any loss or any feeling of loss. This is what figuring out true love is, right? When you have such faith in something that you may not even be able to see, but you have such faith in it that no matter what happens around it, it's whatever, straight up whatever, right? And it's insane. It's insane sometimes. And please, if you haven't shared this out yet, please share this information out tonight. Share this stream out so we can touch as many people on this planet as possible, like a chain reaction. We're going to spread love like a ripple across the face of this planet. And also, if I could ask you to like this video and then leave a comment when we finish. If you leave a comment, it helps to boost the algorithmic views and we can get this information out to more people, right? Set intentions for yourself. Set intentions and use those intentions as a pedestal to prompt you into that next level. Use meditation. Meditation is key. Being in the now and stilling the mind is access to everything, right? It's access to everything. So they don't want us to know about the things that I've talked about this evening. That's human history. Love is human history. Frequency activation is human history. Consciousness and awareness is human history. It's in your genetics, it's in your DNA. Just become aware of it. It's all right there at your fingertips. And again, what does that mean? It means that you are the one that you have been waiting for. We are the ones that we have been waiting for. There is nobody coming to save anybody. It is up to the eye of the beholder. You, me, us, community, right? Community. And when the information flows so freely, the information then becomes the activation. What do we mean by that? Let's break that down. By hearing the information, something inside of you flips a switch, which now grants you access to a place that was dormant before, whether inside of your consciousness, in your genetic library, whatever it does. You feel it in your stomach. It's this tingle in your gut, is how I say it, right? This almost apprehensive feeling for a moment, but then it soothes out. And now you have access. The next step is to control the access point and to have the information flow freely to your consciousness. As I just said that, I got this wave that just washed over me. And that wave, I have to evaluate it. I think it was love, but it was just an enormity of release that I'm saying these things now. I'm not reading off of a Word document showing you a presentation. I'm speaking on a rant like from the heart right now. And I believe that we're destined to know all of it, to feel all of it, to love all of it. But it's up to us right now, right? And we have to access it all. So we've done about 40 minutes right now. So let's get into the meditation, right? We'll do a 5-7 minute meditation. And as we do the meditation, we're going to focus our thoughts, right? So let's everybody take a breath, relax, close your eyes, get comfortable, give yourself a minute. I'll give you a minute, right? All right. First, we're going to set the intention. With this meditation, and I repeat after me, with this meditation, we want unfettered access to the human historical timeline within the Akashic record or the collective consciousness. With this meditation, we want all aspects of who, what, and where we have been to be clear. With this meditation, I want to see all possible futures and or alternate realities. With this meditation, I want a straight connection to the collective consciousness. With this meditation, I want a direct connection to the human and galactic etherical consciousness. With this meditation, I want to know humanoid beings from their inception and into forever. Anybody else tingling a little bit? I know I am. All right. So let's close our eyes. Let's get into our position. And we're going to do breathing, right? In, out. Breathe in, hold it for 3 seconds, and out. Breathe in, hold it, breathe out. Breathe in, hold it, breathe out. Breathe in, hold it, breathe out. One more time. Breathe in, hold it, breathe out. And you can resume breathing on your own. At this time, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to envision a light in the center of our heart chakra. As we feel this light, it's pulsating. It is a bright, brilliant white light. Now, with this light, we see it start to creep outwards from our heart, past our hips, past our arms, forming a bubble around us. We're going to infuse that light with our energy. I'm going to push our energy into the light, into the heart chakra to become a part of that bubble. And now that we've protected ourselves, what we're going to do is we're going to, it doesn't matter if you're on the first floor, second floor, or on the ground. I want you to envision roots coming from the bottom of you, traveling all the way down, connecting to Mother Earth, anchoring you into this reality. Breathe. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. As the roots take hold, we connect our energy from Mother Earth back up into the heart chakra via those roots. Feel the earth, feel the vibration of earth coming into your system. And again, infuse that energy into the light of the heart chakra. And into that light and into that heart chakra, pass it to the bubble of light around us, protecting us. Now that we're breathing still and we're protected, I want you to start relaxing your body, starting with your feet and your toes. Keep breathing. As we keep breathing, We start to feel it in our calves, in our knees. Relaxation. As we keep breathing, we start to feel it in our thighs, in our hips, a complete relaxation. As we keep breathing, we feel it in our pelvis, in our stomach, complete relaxation. Breathe, breathe. Now we start to feel it in our chest and our shoulders, complete relaxation. As it moves to our arms, our biceps, our forearms, and our hands. Relaxation. Now we feel it in our head and neck to the tops of our head. A complete relaxation of the entire body. We're going to keep breathing. We're going to keep breathing. Now that we've relaxed the entirety of our body, we're going to let ourselves out into the universe. We're going to essentially move towards space. And as we move towards space, we see the earth getting smaller and smaller as we rise up. And as we get to the top of Earth's atmosphere, we see a doorway. Looks like a floating doorway, but it's a doorway. I want you to go right for the door. Hang on to the handle. Don't open it yet. We're going to step through together. Find the door. Get to the door. This door will lead us to the halls. The halls of the Akashic Records. And we're going to count to 3. And on 3, I want everybody to turn the handle and walk through the door. So we're going to breathe. Keep breathing. 1. Breathe. Breathe. 2. Breathe. Breathe. 3. Turn and walk through. Now we are in the halls of the Akashic Records. There are many, many doorways in this hall. Some say history. Some say humanity. Some say extraterrestrial. Many different doors with many different meanings. It looks like the hallway is endless. So now, this is where we get to do a little bit of our own thing. We're going to keep breathing. Keep breathing. And go to the door you want to go to. Whatever door feels right for you in this moment. We'll take about 10 seconds here to find your door. The choice is yours. Whatever door is calling to you. And again, we're going to get to the door. We're not going to walk through just yet. On the count of 3, we're going to turn the knob and walk through. Then we're going to go into a 2-minute break of silence so that you can explore what's in that room. And then we'll start to come back. 1, breathe. Breathe. 2, breathe. Breathe. 3, open the door and walk through. And at this time, the room you have chosen has your information and it's ready for you to be received. Some of the information you may see immediately, some may take time to come to the forefront. I'm going to give you each 2 minutes of breathing to get your information, whatever it is you need to see. And the time starts now. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. Thirty more seconds. Collect whatever information you need. And then we're going to exit the door at the count of three. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. 1. Keep breathing. 2. Keep breathing. 3. Walk out the door and back into the hallway. And as we make our way into the hallway, we're going to feel a sense of reassurance that this path will always be open to us and that we'll be able to come back and be familiar with all of the doors in this hall. Now we're going to make our way to the door in which we came. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. As we get to the door, we're going to count to 3. We're going to turn it and walk through. 1. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. 2. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. 3. Turn and walk through the door. As we walk through the door, we're going to be in the upper atmosphere of Earth, right where we found it. As we keep breathing, we're going to float back down, using the roots that we've laid into Mother Earth to find our way back to our bodies. We're going to count backwards from 10. And from 10, we're going to enter our body again. 10. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. 9. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. 8. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. 7. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. 6. Keep breathing. 5. Keep breathing. 4. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. 3. Breathe. 2. Breathe. 1. Now we are back in our bodies. Take your time to absorb the light that you put out as your protection and to pull your roots back in. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Open your eyes come back to reality. Now, for all those who partook in the meditation, if you want to, I would like to see in the chat or in the comment once you leave it when we finish what room you decided to go into. And if any information you want to give to everybody else, that's fine. If you want to keep it secret, that's up to you as well. But I want to know what you saw in there. Tell me. And tell me if it worked. Tell me if you like the meditation as well. We could do more of them. We could do dedicated meditations as well. So, again, I hope everybody enjoyed this. It was very calming and collecting at the very end there after ranting for a little while. Felt good. But I just want to tell you all that I love you all. And there's nowhere I would rather be than right here with all of you and going through some crazy topics. Some topics we already know and exploring a little further. Some topics are new. We're going to start that new series this week. We're going to try and put 2 or 3 of them out a week, depending on how much information we can squeeze into it. But it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a multi-part series. I don't know exactly how many, but a lot. So be prepared. Anyway, I hope everybody enjoyed this evening. I love you all. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment when this is finished. It really, really helps. Super chats are open as well if you feel inclined. All proceeds go back into the broadcast to get us more information behind paywalls that hold information. And yeah, remember that we are the ones that we've been waiting for. You are the one that you've been waiting for. And if it's not going to be us, then who? It's up to us, right? This information becomes the activation. And we need to be active and activated right now. So, with all that being said, please always explore the past, remain in the present, but dictate the terms of your future. I am Rob Yox. This is Full Spectrum Universe. I love you all so very much. I'm deeply, deeply grateful for each and every one of you, and I'll see you all next time.